currently set to centimeters. Okay, I'm going to change mine and work in inches in this course. But let's say we're working, say, with some web or UI design work in Illustrator. You can click on pixels. It doesn't really matter, but this is the place to change it. It's in a slightly different place than, say, a lot of the other Adobe products like Photoshop or InDesign, where it's kind of done in the preferences. So that's just something to note here. So I'm going to pick inches. One last thing we'll do before we move on to start making things is just some basic navigation. We'll cover a lot more during the course, but zooming in and out and moving around is quite important. So there is a long way around. All right, that's it for the boring navigation stuff in Illustrator. I will remind you of those shortcuts throughout the course, so don't worry. But now, boring stuff over, let's get into the super exciting world of creating things in Illustrator using shapes and lines. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Hi there, in this video, we are going to set up our documents so that we can start redrawing this cute little sheriff penguin using all our shapes. So we're gonna create a new document, show you how to bring in and use layers to lock this pencil drawing in the background so that we can redraw over the top of it. All right, let's get started. All right, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna create a new document to draw our penguin on. Let's go to File, let's go to New. Now in here we've got a bunch of presets. I will remind you on the top here you've got like worry, design a mobile phone, kind of a website. We're going to start with print. Okay, and in here we're going to pick letter stuff over. And along here we're going to change our units to inches in Illustrator using. We're going to make it landscape. And what you'll find is yours is probably twirled up down the bottom here. See where it says advanced options? Click on that word and this little extra option opens up. We're going to set up and we'll change our color mode to RGB. This cute little we're not going to cover the full differences between RGB and how to bring in and use layers. Just so you know, if you're new, RGB gives you a bigger color field, more richer color. First thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new document to draw our penguin. If you're going to eventually become a commercial illustrator or commercial designer using Illustrator, you probably need to research a little bit more, mind the differences between the two. But the short version is just use RGB. Even if you're going to commercial print, printers have some amazing software to convert it to RGB, which they need, and often here we're going to change our units to RGB. Perfect for pretty much all. We're going to make it a landscape. And what you'll find is yours is probably twirled. Next thing we're going to do is save our document. Advanced options, go to File, and let's save our extra option opens up. What I want to do is change our color mode. If you're on a Mac like I am, you might have this little arrow to see the differences between RGB. If you're on a PC, things are very similar, but RGB gives you a bigger. Now, depending on your ability, you might just save it on GMYK a little bit more. What I'm going to do is be very organized, eventually become a commercial illustrator or commercial designer using Illustrator. You might need to research a little bit more. Put a folder on my desktop called class file. The short version is just use RGB. Even if you're going to commercial print, printers have some amazing software. We're going to convert it to RGB. They run on PC. It's slightly different. I think there's just an icon along the top here that says like a new folder. Hover above them. Create a new folder called class files. Name our document. What we're going to do is save our document. Advanced options. Go to File and let's see these Illustrator options. What I want to do is now if you're on a Mac, like I am, get started. You might have got is I've hand-drawn a penguin, and we're going to redraw over the top of it. It's a really common way I work and a lot of illustrators work. Now, depending on your ability to draw on my notebook, you might take a photo of it or a scan and actually just draw. What I'm going to do is be very organized. It's not how everyone works. Just go straight into Illustrator, but it's going to give us at least a template to draw as a folder to make it a bit easier for us now. So to make that happen, let's go to File, and let's go to Place. Place is the word. It's interchangeable with PC. It's slightly Illustrator likes to call it icon along the File, Place. Bring in our image. Create a folder called exercise file, download it, and in there should be one called penguin. Now before you click place, what we're going to do is click on this word. What I want to do is show you what it does. Now if you're on a Mac, let's make sure template is clicked. What ends up happening is with my black arrow, if I click off in the background, you see I can't move this in my work. So what it does is it brings it in, it puts it on its own layer, it locks it. But look how happy he is. All right, let's get started. All right, to get started, what we're going to do is we're going to grab our rectangle tool over here in my toolbar. If you can't see the rectangle tool, it might be that if you click and hold this kind of where this option might be, it might be set to something like the ellipse tool. And to change it back to the rectangle tool, all you do is click, hold until these options appear. And then just click on the rectangle tool. Also to get started, just make sure you're on your layers panel and make sure you're on layer 1. In your properties panel, I want to make sure we're going to change our fill and stroke. The fill is the center color of our rectangle, and the stroke is the line around the outside. So what you do is you click on this first little icon, doesn't matter what color it is currently. Pick a random color.
All right, to get started, what we're going to do is we're going to grab,
because we're going to change it in a second, I just want you to get used to it. You can click back on this icon to close it back up, and the stroke, click on this, just make sure it's set
where
to
this
black.
option might be. It might be set to something.
You don't actually have to click back on this, you can just click anywhere and
change it back to the rectangle tool.
And I want to make sure that the stroke is set to 1 point until the
options appear.
It's just a nice thin line that goes around the outside.
Also, to get started,
let's draw a random rectangle. Don't worry if it
it
doesn't kind of line up. We're going to use it for the body of our
properties
panel.
panel.
So you can see
make
the fill
sure
is
we're
the
gonna
center
change our
color,
fill
and the
stroke.
stroke is the
fill
line
is
around
the
the center
outside.
color of
What
our
you might see
rectangle,
is
and
this
the
kind of
stroke
like
is the
faint
line
blue
around
line
the
or a
outside.
red line.
So what you do is you
depending
click
on
on
your
this
computer.
first little
What
icon.
it means is it just means
it's
the color is
selected
currently.
So if we go back to random color, this is your kind of like safety
and
grab, because we're going to go back to your black arrow if you're not too sure what to do. You know, you've got all selected, just go back to the black arrow. It's the one you're going to use the most on this. What you can do is click the background.
This option might be. It might
Just
be
click once,
you don't actually
and
have to
it's deselected our rectangle.
and
You can see the
tool.
stroke around the
I want to
outside.
make sure that the stroke is set
so it just goes blue when we have it
until
the. So what I'd like to do is I like to keep the black line, but not the
also to
fill.
get started,
Let's
draw
draw
a
a random
random
rectangle. Don't worry if it doesn't black arrow.
Now we're going to
Click
use
it in the middle
for the
anywhere.
properties panel.
So you can see the fill is the center color, and to have none, stroke is a little red line here. If you hover above it,
So you might see this kind of like
I want
faint
nothing
blue
line
line
or
or
red line. Depending on click in the
this
background.
first
What it means is it
close
just
that
means
little
little
fill
fill
panel.
panel.
So
Great.
go back
The
to
line around the outside, but this is your kind of like
fill.
safe.
And
And what you'll notice is
we're
we're
going
going
to
to
go
go
back
different
to your
black
black
arrows.
arrows.
When you click in the background, you know, you've got all these
What
happens is
if I
by clicking
click
the
that,
center, the one you can see it just doesn't work. You can do is click
where
it
this
like green.
might be.
Here is
Click
click
once.
once.
You don't actually have to
So if I want to
select
select this rectangle now, I'm going to click the edge stroke around the outside. Black arrow is set to go blue until the.
What I'd like to do is
right square, keep the black line, but not. I just want you to
resize
resize
it
it so that it kind of doesn't black arrow.
Now we're
So
going
get in the middle anyway. Penguin here. All right, not very exciting. Let's get into slightly more nice little red line here if you hover above it. So black arrow is just one bit selected. You see these little targets in the background? These are called corners. And all they do is click, hold, drag it with your mouse straight towards the center. What you'll notice is we're going to go different black arrows, making all the corners in the background. You know, you've got all these happens is kind of what I want for the top and not the one you can see. It just doesn't. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this thing called edit. And click once, undo. So if I want to go back one rectangle now, I'm going to undo one. Black arrow, and it keeps going back. You can keep hitting undo right square, keep the black line, but you can also read it or resize. Now I'm going to use the shortcuts throughout this course because it's a really common thing to do. Go down. All right, not very exciting. On my Mac, it's Command Z. On a PC, it should be Control. So black arrow, or you can just go to the selected. What I'd like to do is I would like to have just one of the corners selected. So look at this little icon here. If I click it once, you can see it's kind of changed, inverted. So it's kind of selected what I want at the top. What I mean by that is it doesn't. So what we're going to do is use this thing. So you click it once, then click and drag it. Just goes back one thing. Undo. Same here. Do once. Alternate color. Now click and drag them. I keep hitting undo with these individual corners. Now my radius is a little bit different on both sides. What I'd like throughout this course is go to edit, undo, go down. Edit, undo again on my Mac. Command Z. I'm going to show you how to click both. Click the first one, like we did before. We can just go to the black arrow. If you hold your shift key down on your keyboard, I would like to. It's going to play a pretty big part in Illustrator. So hold down shift, click on the second one. It means that I can select more than one time. When these go to the bottom aren't selected, it's kind of selected. When I grab one of them, click, hold, drag it. Now I know the Mac. Click it once. Last minute change to my design. I'm going to click this bottom one once and just tuck it up, undo, same thing, do it once. Alternate color. That's done before. You still, I keep hitting work with it. You don't hold the color exactly. My radius is a little bit different on both sides. Strokes around the outside, is go to the middle, undo, corner, go down. Start building some parts. Let's draw the circle for it. It's going to show you how to click hold, keep holding down your mouse. You can just go to the black arrow. And then if you hold your shift key down on your keyboard, it's going to be a still big part. What we're going to do is click and drag it. Click on what you'll notice is that I can click and drag one time. So that's fine. One of them, undo, drag it. What I'd like to do is I want to change my design. I want that shift is a really kind of usable tool. So when I start dragging out, if I hold down the shift key, while I'm doing it, you still see a lot more height. You don't shoot a rectangle, polygon, circles around the outside. So I'm going to get it to roughly the right size. I'm going to grab that building select, draw the circle for either the edge, or if you can see this dot here, hold down your mouse and just go to the center. If you've got it the wrong size, you can say it's still too big, and try to line it up, click and drag, click on what you notice, what you can resize it. Just like we did before, that means that I can grab any of these little guys a few times. The trouble with resizing it this way is you can see I'm kind of distorting the shape. I'm going to show you why in a second. To rotate this thing, we need to be in a kind of a special zone. So when we were resizing it before, remember we held shift and we dragged this up and down to make it kind of bigger and smaller? The rotation's very close. So clicking on the corner and dragging resizes it, but watch this. If I move my cursor just a bit further out into this kind of like, so to rotate this thing, we need to be in a kind of a special zone. So when we were resizing it before, remember we held kind of like every corner has this kind of like down to make it kind of bigger rotation zone. The rotation's very close. You'll wiggle your mouse. So clicking on the corner and dragging resizes it, but watch this. If I move my cursor just a bit further out into this kind of like, so to rotate this thing, we need to be in a kind of a special zone. So when we were resizing it before, remember we held kind of like every corner has this kind of like down to make it kind of bigger rotation zone. The rotation's very close. You'll wiggle your mouse clicking on the corner and dragging resizes it. But watch this. If I move my cursor just a bit further out into this kind of like, so to rotate this thing, we need to be in a kind of a special zone. So when we were resizing it before, remember we held kind of like every corner has this kind of like down to make it kind of bigger rotation zone. The rotation's very close. You'll wiggle your mouse clicking on the corner and dragging resizes it. But watch this. If I move my cursor just a bit further out into this kind of like, so to rotate this thing, we need to be in a kind of a special zone. So when we were resizing it before, remember we held kind of like every corner has this kind of like down to make it kind of bigger rotation zone. The rotation's very close. You'll wiggle your mouse right. Your mouse right. Your mouse right.
Que ça donne. Je donne à qui je veux, 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 oh, baisse le Superman, ou 12 stickers de Genève, donne un zig. Si tu es pas comme un contact ma chérie, faut pas le laisser. Si tu es bon comme un borotiki, à qui t'on ne coupe pas les gens. Toi-même tu connais bouche d'africaine, un coup, toujours en train de séparer les gens. Tu fais beaucoup de boulot, il y a du 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 boulot, amène-moi où tu veux, cadeau, fais-moi ce que tu veux, cadeau, mais c'est pas cadeau. Champion, Landro, merci pour tes guitares de merde. C'est pas de ma photo, c'est Dieu qui m'a donné. Le Superman, ou 12 stickers de Genève, donne un zig. Si tu es pas comme un contact alors, ma chérie, faut pas le laisser. Si tu es bon comme un borotiki, à qui donne le goût pas les gens. Attends, vous êtes bien, madame, tu es à la balle, avec René. Aujourd'hui, elle n'a plus le temps de rêver. Elle est devenue